Okay, mimes, why don't we go ahead and gather together and start the third section here. What we're going to now cover is going to be the attitudes, and then after the attitudes, which are of course Marceauian, we're going to go into the areas of statue building and then metamorphosis. So, Marilyn, why don't you start us off?
Okay. The first one I'd like to show you is called La Joie, which just means joy. And what will happen is, as normal, we're going to step forward onto the promontory here, the weight over the hips. All right? All right, you know how to do that. And 0. And then the upper body, we're going to have an inclination backward of the chest, the neck, and the head. And the arms will be up here, and that's on the V line, if you remember right. But the arms will be slightly bent, the palms slightly backward. So it's a very open position, and the face is not going to be, you know, it's not like that, happy, you know. We're going to do one just joy. You just want everything lifted, the eyes open, and the mouth slightly open, but it's a mask, it's not a grimace. So don't grimace the face, we don't want to see. Okay, that's not joy, that's silly. Right? So we want to just try and have a nice open position, so you'll inhale for joy. 0. And la joie. And 0. Make sure all of your weight is going over your feet, all right? This time when we do joy, I'd like to see you really hold the position and don't let any of the facial expression or the breath or anything kind of sink out of it. Really hold the suspension of it, okay? La joie, and go. And 0. All right, the second one is courage or courage. And so what will happen with this is we need to show an assertiveness. And we can do that by using our body to go forward on the promontory, same as the last one, but really be pushing forward. We're going to turn this into a march later. Then what will happen is we'll use our hands in opposition to the feet. So if the right foot is forward, we have the left arm forward in a demi-fist, and the other back here. And then the chest is going to be inclined backward slightly, and the head forward. The eyes direct to be very serious, and the weight over the foot. Okay, both hips should be facing forward. Don't let it be here something. You're very direct. That's courage. Okay, so you shouldn't look like you're going to beat someone up, but just show that you have enough courage to do so if you must. Okay, here we go. And courage. And 0. Good. One more time. And courage. And back. Great. And now Todd would like to take you through désespoir.
Désespoir is the next attitude that we want to learn. It's Marceau's attitude for despair. Now, désespoir is done both forward as well as backward. At least those are the two that we'll be learning today. The thing about désespoir, the despair, is that you're going to be going forward with the chest and then allowing the pelvis to take you forward as well. But do not bend in the waist. This will curl you up too far. You'll be hidden from the audience. So it's just the chest here and then onto the lunge. Okay? The hands are brought up as if gathering the despair, and then losing all hope. Now I breathe into the movement, and the breath is going to help me actually do the lunge correctly. And it's going to help me with the rhythm and the weight of the movement. So if I was to do it, stepping forward into the lunge, here, way down deep, and then, now the head is still kept to the side, not looking straight up, or down here at the floor. You want to have it here so that they can see the poetic mask of the despair. So let's try that together. 0, 5, 6, 7, 8. and neutral. Okay, remember to allow the face to be colorated by the despair. Okay. And 00, 5, 6, 7, 8. Stay in the position, please. Keep the despair. Okay. Remember to keep the inclination of the chest. There you go. 00. Now, the despair going backwards will happen here with the chest now going back. It's as if a string is pulling me here and pulling me up. Now, it's not with the waist. It's the chest inclined backward. And I'm opening the arms now here into a cross position. Don't try to show muscles with it. Keep it wide. It's like taking a cross and then suspending the whole thing from the chest. The head keeps on the line of the chest and is inclined slightly back and creates the mask once again with the breath. And the foot, again, we're going to be stepping onto it. This time the foot is going to come right behind, either on a flat foot here, but even more so if you can come up. So we'll try it together. With the breath, again, helping us with the rhythm as well as the weight of the movement. 5, 6, 7, 8. 00. Let me go ahead and see it again. 5, 6, 7, 8. And 00. Good. Desesplat was the last one. What we're going to do next is we're going to try to use some of these attitudes. Now, the attitudes are used so that we can create statues and different ideas with the statues. We're going to go ahead and move into that. There's a lot of different types of statues. Go ahead and have a seat. When you create a statue, I want you to look over into the audience as far as you can into the back pew so that you project all the way back. Many times we're practicing, as it were, to a wall. I want you to try to project your image all the way back. Now, a statue can be done in a couple of different manners. We can have a stacked statue, where the montage, the overall statue or the tableau that we create, is one person almost on top of the other. In this way, the audience can see in one glance the whole image of the statue. The second kind of statue that we might use is a linear statue, and that's where the statue is on a line, a timeline, where we can see from one time into an advancement of time. However, lines are a little bit more boring, so they're not as common in stage because it ends up looking two-dimensional instead of three-dimensional. Now, what might be a timeline statue or something that we might be able to use as an idea here? Yeah?
Youth to maturity?
Youth to maturity. Good. That would be a good statue. Why don't we take it one step further, though? Why don't we take it to birth all the way up to death? Okay? Using the idea of youth maturity in it, because then we'll see the timeline. Where you're already at, okay, go ahead and stand up for me, please. Scoot back just a little bit. There, that's fine. Okay, Marilyn, why don't we start then with you down as the baby, all right? Maybe the baby's asleep or something to that effect. Give us a statue of that. That's good. Good. Catches the images. Okay, now give me the next image of baby, your baby in diaper type thing. Okay? Your baby. Yeah, that's good. Okay, now scoot that back a little bit so that Marilyn is part of you more. Okay? That's good. Now take that from the baby in diaper to toddler stage. Okay? And why don't you put your foot on your shoulder or something? Yeah, okay, a little bit. Hold on. Yeah, there you go. Okay, keep biting your toe. Keep the statue. Are you looking at her? No, your toe. Okay, good. Jeff, youth. That's right. Why don't you go ahead and bring it up, like Marceau's position. That's good. Okay, a little bit closer to the statue. We got to keep it tight, even though it's still a timeline. That makes you maturity. It's Okay, bring the hand forward. There you go. Okay, now don't actually touch his shoulder with it, though you're real close to it. There you go. Look forward sternly. That makes you old age. Marceau's position is down. Okay, hands up, maybe as if a cane. Give us a nice little face of old. All right, that means the poor chap is going to have a heart attack. Why don't you go on to a knee with that, reaching out toward heaven. Yeah. Okay, give us a little bit more towards the audience. Project that way, toward your audience. Turn your head a little bit more. There you go. Okay, now in this case, the hand will almost be from his. That'll make a nice line. Okay, reach with that hand. Reach with the face going toward there. There you go. Keep that chest tilted so that we can see the heart there. And agony in the hand on the heart. Voila. Okay, now your death. Just go onto the floor. Put your left foot forward as well. There you go. Lie down. Now go ahead and scoot back because it's a time line. There you go. Scoot back. Tilt a little bit. This way, that way. There you go. Voila. And hand on heart. It's relaxed now. And the other hand is just fallen down, and you're dead. Hate it when that happens. Okay, into the statue, please. Now we have the whole timeline from the little child, baby in diapers, the toddler, to youth, to maturity, to old age, to the processes of death, and finally to the grave, our death. In this, the audience reading left to right will have the overall idea of the whole statue, and they can restudy different sections of that statue. This means that the audience can take as long as they want to look at the whole idea. Okay, now I want you to stand up into a 00 from here. Stand up into a 00. Turn your backs to the audience. Okay, now stay in that position. That's where you're going to move into your timeline. Okay, I want you to turn on an 8 count. Now, as you go ahead and turn around and face me. As you turn around, you're going to have to take on his position. So you're going to have the heart attack here, right? You're going to have to go down onto your knee. Now, as soon as you hear him breathe into it, you come and make sure that you're already going down as well with him. Now, on the 8 count, you're both coming out at the same time. So you're going to come out, and where he's going to stop, you're going to have to be faster to get down there by the 8 count, okay? And Marilyn, remember that yours is a greater distance as well as yours, so your rhythm is going to be slightly faster than theirs, which is almost just turning around. Okay, let's try it. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, we're a little bit slow. Go ahead and go down. Now what it is the whole statue should come together. Come up, stand up please, turn around. Turn around, 00. Try to get to that position, all of you arriving on 8. Okay, all of you arriving on 8. Notice Marilyn went a little bit fast and then Susan was behind slow, so the statue wasn't there together. On this statue, it's a whole image emerging at once. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Much better. Many times we have to go through it like that at least once to find out how much time it's going to take. Okay, return to 00. Just standing up, please, right now. What we're going to do this time is I want to show you how a timeline can unfold. Since we have an obvious beginning and an obvious end, we can read it like the audience would read it, from left, their left, to right. That would mean that Marilyn would show the child, and then we would show the idea of it growing all the way through the timeline until we come to death. And this would be the only reason why I would want to use a completely flat statue, is because we can have it read from left to right and therefore show the actual process of time. So what you're going to do is you're going to start maybe on the 3, and then after she's counted to 3, you'll begin, you'll begin, you'll begin, you'll begin, you'll begin. Now, again, when he does it, Wait for him now to tuck the heart. Then you'll come around with the heart and do the move down with him. He'll just stop halfway down and you continue all the way in it. That'll join the end and increase the rhythm for us. Don't take it too slow. Keep them united together, but wait till they're almost finished their image. Ready? I'll give you a count and then on your own timing. 5, 6, 7, 8. Five, 6, 7, 8 to neutrals. That was good. The only thing I would correct on it, turn around, face me, is Holly, you need to go ahead and get your foot up there right away, and then you need to give her a little bit more time to get into the position. Okay, but other than that, the statue unfolds now, and the audience is able to see it as it goes through. Tell you what, let's try a different formation of a statue. If you take the same ideas, you don't have to have it in real time or real space. A statue takes what takes place in natural space and pushes it together. It molds and manipulates not only the space that something naturally takes place, but also the time in which it takes place. So we can, as it were, bend time, or we can bend space. So why don't we reform this statue? Marilyn, why don't you take center almost? And remold the statue in, okay? Go ahead and hit your positions. Go ahead and get your positions and just pile them on top of each other. Yeah, come forward right next to the birth, so we have death and birth right next to each other. Heart attack, there you go. Go ahead and behind her, and then just slightly behind him, so we see him, as it were, coming out of you. Now this is the stack statue, where we have, there you go, that's better. Where we have different levels. We also have the floor now, we have the middle line, the waistline, and we have the ear, we have it upright. So the statue is much more interesting to the audience to see than the timeline statue. However, we wouldn't unfold this one. We would much rather have the whole montage immediately seen rather than seeing an individual vignette or an individual tableau. Okay? You have to hold it perfectly still. The audience looks at it. They can observe as long as they want. And to 00, please. Good. Have a seat. Now, in the statue, remember that the idea of a statue is to try to capture the essence of an idea, not just the fact or the intellectual thing, like a runner. I'm running. If I was just to do a runner like this and say, I am running, the audience isn't going to understand. They're going to say, okay, he's running. Who cares? What you want to do is you want to take the essence of it. You want to give them an idea of it. So the statue has to find the moment in time and space where there is a déséquilibre, an imbalance, a risk. So instead of just showing an intellectual, okay, yeah, we understand that that's an image of a runner, I have to show the person running, as it were, on point, so that he would fall forward if he wasn't real careful. So on it, I want to carry that équilibre forward, lifting up that leg in an attitude, and show the person pulling through the space with the joy and the courage and the déséquilibre, the imbalance of the runner. Instead of just saying, I'm a runner. See? I want to capture the idea, the essence, and not just the act. So when you create a statue, don't make a fact for us. Make a feeling, make an emotion, make that risk, and capture that moment that a statue look like, oh, like a good Michelangelo or Rodin. Oh, it's going to come to life if I just breathe too closely to it. Okay? That's when a statue is good. When it's pulled up and not just here. Okay? Good. Now we've done the two different styles of statues, both the stacked statue as well as the timeline statue, showing the different ways that we can do it. Now there is another technique that we can use where we go from one statue into a total another statue. The process in between the two different statues would be a metamorphosis. It's a slow transition, sort of like when we were coming out into the characters as we went around on the unveiling statue. Now we would use the same rhythm, a very smooth rhythm and transition, to move now not from a neutral into a statue, but from one statue into another statue altogether. What you do is as you transfer the weight, you would decolorate the essence of the first statue. And then when your back is about to the audience, you would colorate into the essence of the new statue. The easiest way for us to show us and to have you try it is to go ahead and take two attitudes or statues that you know. And these would be the statue of anger and fear. So what we'll do is we'll have you go into the statue of anger, stepping into the anger. Then what you're going to do, as you turn, you're going to use a pivot. You're going to bring your pivot in. You're going to drop the hands, decolorate the face, switch the hands over into fear. And as you come around, colorate the fear and bring the foot forward, either to a point or to a flex. Okay? So the rhythm staying constant, and the decoloration and then coloration of the new emotion. It'll look like this. 5, 6, 7, 8. And again, the foot can be pointed or flexed. Okay, so I'd like to go ahead and have you try this simple transfer from one attitude into another, both being a statue in this case. There are other types of metamorphosis that we're going to go ahead and do. So if you will stand, take a position. There we go. What I want you to do is to hit the first attitude. Remember to bring in the foot on the pivot, and then bring the foot forward, okay? In this case, let's go ahead and try the variation of the pointed foot in front, okay? You're going to be stepping on, forward, 5, 6, 7, 8, and step. Start the metamorphosis, slowly, keep it turning, keep it turning. Colorate the fear now, and fear. 00. Quite good. Okay, that's quite good. Let's try it again. 00. 5, 6, 7, 8. Anger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 00. All right, go ahead and have a seat. Now, the next thing that you can do is you can take a metamorphosis that isn't from one attitude or one statue into another statue. You can also go in a metamorphosis from one statue into a living character. For instance, let's take an inanimate object like a tree. And you can take, Marceau has one where he takes a tree and he metamorphoses from the tree into a man walking around the tree back into the man. It looks something to this effect, okay? Or man back into the tree. Tree hand is here, claws up, and on different planes. The metamorphosis would take place. Slow begins. Then as I go around, my hand will drop into the man, going around the tree. Taking half steps with my walk, I put my hand on the branch. The rhythm has to stay the same as I go around. I don't want to jolt or stop to get my position as I go around. Jeff, why don't you come forward? I'm going to go ahead and have you do the same thing I've just done. worked our metamorphosis. Stand in first position. That's right, look straight ahead. Remember, this tree is very strong, resistant. Put your hand up, different levels. Now, he's going to breathe the rhythm into the metamorphosis and start. And then he's going to do the walking. And when you walk, do half walk, so you'll actually be covering space. Okay? Okay, ready? I'll talk you through it. 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathe. And begin the metamorphosis slowly. Slowly. That's it. Now, as he turns and his hand is obscured, he'll start to drop the hand. Then the other hand will come around, and he'll head first, chest, waist, walk, half walk. Go ahead and do the slide on the walk. There you go. Put the hand up, comes around. As he comes around, turns back into the tree. Freeze. 00. Okay, good. Now, a couple points. Go ahead and sit down. A couple points to remember. As the tree has come around, the hand's dropped. My head's going to come out, then my shoulder, as I walk around the tree, looking up at the tree. Then I put my hand on the tree, comes out. Boom. That has to be very, very smooth as we come out, as Jeff has already demonstrated. Now, we've shown you two different styles of metamorphosis, from statue to statue, and now we've just gone from statue, or statuary object, into a moving object. However, even in the moving object, the rhythm of the pivot is caught by the marching of the feet, and then the pivot is repicked up afterwards. So in this metamorphosis, we're going to have a constant, constant, and that constant is that rhythm in between the two objects, and melting away of one essence in the coloration of another. And we can do this and just keeping the same exact rhythm and just change the nature of the impression of the face or the intention. For instance, if I take something like joy and someone laughing, that is very close to another rhythm, sorrow. Okay, extreme sorrow. We'll take it in the comic sense. Okay? Going from here, so we get someone laughing. You see, the constant in it is the actual laughter of the thing, or the person crying. So, in a metamorphosis, as long as I keep the rhythm somewhere within the movement, the audience will still have the suspension that a metamorphosis creates. It's a very enjoyable way of going from one total idea into a total another one. And it keeps them in the transition. It's different from your change of character in which you just switch around by pivoting. Because there the metamorphosis is so fast that there's not a lot of tension in your audience. The metamorphosis creates a tension and an interest of, oh, look, I see them transforming before my eyes. Now, it's not always the case that you have to stay in just a statue, or that a metamorphosis is always just in place. Sometimes the metamorphosis can take place in movement. In fact, in mine, we don't want to just create a statue, or an unfolding statue, or a metamorphosis from one thing to another. We want to create a living character, something that moves and breathes. So we can use the idea of a statue and make that statue move. When we do that, we are transferring our concept. We're making it into a march or a transfer of weight from one statue into another, maybe in a metamorphosis, maybe just in a march. But we're transferring the concept, and that's the next step that we're going to go into. So if you'll go ahead and stand up, we'll go ahead and get in our same position as the marches before for the first one, which is Désespoir, the March of Despair. Good. Now, in the March of Despair, what we want to try to remember, it's basically we're going to do two different variations. We're going to do the one that comes forward as well as the one that goes back. Okay? Remember the position of the chest as we do it. What you're going to do now is you're going to lunge into the position and then breathe back to the neutral and then lunge into the next foot. Okay? We'll do it together, 6 steps. Ready? 5, 6, 7, 8, and good. Now go back, and we'll go ahead and try the marche d'espoir. And this time we're going to do the backward one, the cross hung, as it were, into a step. Okay? So you're going to step onto the foot, back to neutral. Step onto the other foot, and back to neutral. Okay? It's actually going to be left behind you a little bit. Okay? Remember the suspense. And let's go ahead from 00, 5, 6, 7, 8. Double zero. Great. Now, if we could, we'll go ahead and try both put together. You're going to take a step and desespoir forward, and a step, go back to neutral, then a step de desespoir en arrière. Okay? Let's trying it together. 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, let's go ahead and go back. We're going to go ahead and try it now to do the heavy hand of God. Susan and Heather, why don't you help me illustrate this? Please come forward. The rest of you can sit down. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to create a statue this time that actually I created from a vase in which I saw the position called the heavy hand of God, which is the hand on the head here, representing the hand of God being on a person's life in judgment. Okay? So what you're going to do is, okay, why don't you stand here? You're going to be here, and you're slightly ahead of her. Okay, stand in third, both of you. Now, you're both going to plie, but you're going to plie deeper, as grand as you can get, and yours is just shallow, right? You're going to put your right hand, there, plie, put your right hand face up, palm up, okay, and then come in with the chest, okay? That's it. Now, keep your head towards your public. There you go. Now, I saw both statues here. The first one in demi-plie, and the one almost standing up. And this is almost the waist height, and this is almost shoulder height, okay? Now, the next statue that I saw was, go ahead and stand up. The next statue that I saw, out of this one, was the character stepping forward. And when they stepped forward out of the plie, what they did was they lunged forward, going down into a plie, either touching or barely touching, with their head way back here. Okay? The hand representing the hand of God on their life, the despair shown in the position of the head and the chest, and the hand shooting back. So, when you do this one, what I want you to do, you can do it with me, okay? You're here, and you're going to take a breath into the position. Cambre back as you do it. Ready? 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, you see it. Okay, now try to keep the shoulder forward, the head tilted this way. There you go. And then you're going to step back into the original position, okay? And it'll be a march. What we're doing here is we're transferring two different statues and turning each statue into a position in the march, and that's what creates a transfer of concept. We have your first statue, show it to me, and now try to go to that second position. And second position, go. There, good. Now, you breathe, as she's breathed this time, to create a heavy weight, a ralentir in the movement. Okay, back to the original, please. Now, Susan, when you come forward to do it, what you're going to do instead is you're going to step onto almost a straight leg, this leg being straight here, and then you're going to cambre back. Okay? Now keep the waist forward. Don't allow the pelvis to come out, but cambre with the chest back. There you go. Now keep the shoulders straight. Here. Cambre. Now add the despa. There you go. First statue, please. Go ahead. Plie. Staggered slightly. Breathe together. 5, 6, 7, 8. And step. And step. And step. And step. Okay, scoot back. Now, without my instruction, go ahead and try to breathe it together. The breath is very important to breathe together and just take those 4 steps. 5, 6, 7, 8. That's right, 0-0. Now, in this, we can see the rhythm, and if they breathe together, they'll stop on the same step together. In a transfer of concept, both should start and stop together, and they could carry that out for quite a long time. Good. Thank you. Have a seat. This time, we'd like to go ahead and go into the march of youth, maturity, and old age. And Marilyn, why don't you go ahead and show this for us?
Okay, great. Okay, and youth, maturity, and old age is a march, but it's also a transfer of concept. And if you remember the linear statue that we made, this has some of those same qualities. We're going to be going in 3 marches in succession, but you're also doing a metamorphosis. So it's sort of a linear metamorphosis. So the positions for that will be as follows. Youth is going to be upward, because youth is optimistic and lighthearted, really not even down to earth. You know, they're seeing what's out in the world. So the head and the chest are back, and the head goes to the side. The arms are going to go this way with it, forward and back. So they shouldn't be flying around out here somewhere. So it's very optimistic and up. And then we'll take nice high steps up onto a releve on the 1 foot in the back, so it'll go. Okay, so notice the inhale, because it helps to lift you up, okay? So that's going to propel you forward and up. So we'll do 4 steps of youth. Then we're going to take 4 steps where you're in a transition. This is part of the metamorphosis then. You're going to start going from youth into maturity. And then we'll do 4 steps of maturity. And instead of being optimistic and floating around up here, it's going to be straight ahead, very direct. You know where you're going in life. And it'll be here with a marche féline without the little step like this. But it's the actual glissade like that. So we'll be doing maturity with the arms in main géométrique. And you'll go straight forward with determination, 4 steps. Right? Then we'll take 4 steps that are going to transfer out of that maturity into old age, where the position, the final position, is going to be in 3rd position with the feet, a plie, straight down. Take that line straight down and don't allow the bottom to go out in the back or anything like that to happen. So we go straight down, and then the pelvis is going to tilt slightly under. Keep the waist where it is, so no inclinations or anything of the waist. Then the chest is going to incline forward, and naturally the head and neck are going to follow it. And then the head will be inclined back. Okay? Then we don't want to make a face, a grimace of or something like that, all right? We want to just have a slight tilt to the head and a softness of expression on the face. And we're not making a caricature of an old person. We're making a poetic form of someone who is aged. And now, I can't leave my arms dangling down here, can I? Because I look like an ape. So what we want to try and do is, as you're coming from maturity down into old age, The arms are going to swing in the same rhythm that you've been walking in, but they stay in proportion with the body. So as the body goes down, the hands come up, and we end up here. Then we'll do a pivot turn, which you already know how to do. So you'll go from the third position, pivot turn into third, and then we'll begin again, and you'll gradually keep the proportion, and we'll get back into youth. All right? Okay, so Todd's going to demonstrate this with me. And I want you to notice how our line goes from tall, and we gradually take a line going down to the shortest, okay? So watch the rhythms, and watch our height and the proportion of what we're doing. All right? So, let's go here.
Ahead, come back.
Yes.
Keep in mind that we're going to be breathing, and the breath is going to help us be able to stick together. Right? So you'll notice the breath cues as well. Okay? 5, 6, 7, 8. Great. Thanks, honey. Tell you what, why don't we all try that? If you want to stand up, go ahead and get in position. We'll go ahead and take this step together. Remember, it's 4 steps in youth. Okay? 4 steps for the transition. 4 steps for maturity. 4 steps transition. 4 steps in old age. Okay? We'll want you to slowly pivot around in that old age, as Marilyn already demonstrated to you. And then start with a breath into your next step. Right? So we'll go both across and back. Okay? Till 0, 5, 6, 7, 8. And light, youth. That's it. Transition. There you go. Bring the palette hand in, just in front. Transition. Starts to curve. Starts to curve. Get older. Bring the hands in. Stop. Keep tucked under. Keep tucked under, Heather. Okay. Now, slowly start to pivot. 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 Keep that smooth. And take a step. Not rising up. And now start rising. Hands start dropping. We got 4 steps now in this transformation. Step. Metamorphosis. Make it lighter now. Lighter. Lighter. And youth. Up. Up. Stop. Okay, turn around, 00. This actually concludes what we want to cover with the video and the workshop for today. What I'd like to do is try to go ahead and apply some of these things. So if you'll take another position for me, what we're going to do is play around with some of the techniques. You've done a great job. It's been a lot of work, but I think it's gone well. Now let's take these techniques and learn to apply them with a little bit of improvisation. It's a good way to end a class. What we're going to do is we're going to try, for instance, the March of Courage, or the creator idea. And let's just say we have a mad scientist, and the mad scientist enters into a room. You have to introduce the character, 00, and he comes up. and he sees jars on a counter. Takes one down. It's empty. Nothing's in it, of course. Now, he takes it. Now, he wants to put something in it. His fist now becomes the anger. And he's going to put the anger inside the cup. He wants to see what's inside of it. Now he puts it down, knowing full well what's inside his cup. While his back is turned, an apprentice named Susan stands up and approaches the cup and looks inside, and of course gets hit in the process. He collects the jewelry from the object, and he continues on. Now, you're dead, so you can't laugh. He's lost the cup of fury, picks up the cup, scoots the body over so the body rolls, stops. Mimes always can stop in the right place. He's got the cup still. Now, inside the fury, he can pour this fury on anyone he wants. Let's see. Put that aside. Let's try another bottle. What's inside this one? I don't want to use that one. Too loud. Let's try that one. Okay? And... oh, old age. All right. All right, why don't you three stand up over here? Yeah, stand over there. Get up. And as you pass, I'm going to pour this nice bottle of old age all over you. And you're going to show me sort of a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type into the old age, into a series of nice little metamorphoses. Okay? Ready? As you pass me. Get away. Okay, ready? Pass. All right, old folks, sit down. You're just having to walk through my counter, old man. Now, you take another bottle, and inside this bottle, what do we have? Let's see. Oh, I know she's still there. That's right, she's dead. We can have, let's just pick up the cup of fury again. Have you three come forward. Stand over here. And you're just the best of friends. And remember, inside this cup of fury, come closer, please. Stop. Now, inside this cup of fury, oh, smiling ones, is a little bit of fighting and despair, all right? So as you pass by, I'll just pour out this fighting, despair, murderous nature, or whatever, okay? Ready? And come on. Four dead bodies. Okay, stay there. Sweep these dudes off. Ready? And sweep off. Come on. Off you go. Off you go. Dog pile. Okay, that's fine. Just want to clear the space. No antidotes for dead people. Okay. Now, if I take what's inside of here, you can go ahead and sit up. Dead people, arise. Come over here. The power of mind. Okay, have a seat. Now, if I open up this jar, What's inside of it? I don't know yet. Don't want that. Okay, put that away. Try one more. Heather, could you come forward, please? Happy-go-lucky, Heather. Why don't you walk forward and meet with the heavy hand of God, okay? All right, in this case, the heavy hand of Todd. Ready? 5, 6. Happy start with, okay? Ready? Here we go. Oh, ever so joyous. And come. Good job. All the techniques we learn from statues to things, you're learning them for the purpose of being able to express your joy and being able to express the beliefs you have. So just take a time after learning a technique to just play around with ideas. You might capture something that you might want to develop into a piece someday. You never know. Okay? Good. Honey, will you come up? Okay.
Right, now you've got a lot of vocabulary and grammar of movement. Now you can start, instead of making sentences, you can start creating poetry with movement.
That's right. And remember, one last thing that you guys have to do with all this technique and all this stuff we've given you, which is what?
Practice! Heather? Practice!
Very good. God bless you all.